Hi, I'm Richard C. I'm a math tutor here at Wyzant, answering a question submitted by a student. This one has to do with parabolas, um, and it involves something called a focus and something called a directrix. Now, these are not things that you see in algebra, early algebra. Usually we'll see this in algebra 2 or pre-calculus. When you're doing earlier algebra, you're not working with a focus and a directrix. But basically, what we have here is, let's start with a quick sketch. And so I got my axis like that. And the focus, let's just plot that point. Focus, -6, -7. So it's going to be here, -6, -7. The directrix is y equals 9, so it's going to be up here, y equals 9. So if you've never seen this before, that's okay. You'll just have to wait to see it in school. You thought you knew all about parabolas, and now you're finding out that there's more to learn. So this is a parabola opening down. The vertex is going to be somewhere in here. It's midway between the focus and the directrix. And so if I were to do a quick sketch of this, it's just going to be something like this. Not entirely sure what the path is, but it's going to be a parabola opening down. Let me give this one more try. There we go. So that's what we're looking at. Now the maximum here, this point here, is halfway between the directrix and the focus. And so we have to use the midpoint formula. So it's 9 minus 7 over 2. And so the midpoint is going to be 2 over 2, which is going to be 1. So this is going to be -6, 1. And if I wanted to put this point up here, -6, 9. And just as you spent a lot of time on symmetry when you were learning parabolas, when you were earlier on in algebra, we have a similar kind of symmetry going on here. You know about the symmetry that goes this way, but there's also a symmetry that goes vertically. So you can see that this is 8 units away. These two are 8 units away from each other, and then these two are 8 units away from each other. Okay. So now we're going to use the formula. So this has to be, I would recommend that you memorize this. So I'm going to put it in red. And so here it goes. So it's x minus h squared is equal to 4a times y minus k. Well, h and k are exactly what you always knew them to be. So let's take care of those. Here's my h and here's my k. A is this distance from here to here is a. Or if you like, from here to here is a. Doesn't matter. They're both a. But you see, a has to be negative here. The same rules apply. What you learned earlier, if a is negative, the curve opens down, and we have a curve here opening down. So it has to be -8. And so now we're ready to plug in. So I have h is -8, so I have to have an x plus, h is -6, so I have to have an x plus 6 here. 4 times negative 8. I'm just plugging in. This is actually the easy part. The hard part's over. And then y minus 1. Notice that the x is being squared and the y is not, which means it's a vertical parabola. These are the type of parabolas you know and love. You're also going to see horizontal parabolas, which open left or right, and that's a situation where y is the thing that's being squared and x is not. But for today, you've got x being squared and y is not squared, and so you have a vertical parabola opening down. Okay. I don't know, I'm having a little trouble with my pointer today. Okay. My stylus. Okay. So let's just clean this up a bit. So x plus 6 squared is equal to negative 32 rather, times y minus 1. Now, if we wanted to put it in a form that's a little more familiar, we could write this in vertex form, which you learned in previous iterations of algebra. So it would be negative 1 over 32 times x plus 6 squared equals y minus 1. So that should look a little more familiar to you. And the way I like to do it is I like to have the y isolated. And so you would just move that 1 over. And there you are. Now you're in the very familiar vertex form. And so the vertex would be negative 6, 1, which it is. You can see here. And a is negative, which means it's opening down. And if you were to put this into your calculator, you would discover, and take a look at the graph, you would discover the graph looks something like this. It's opening down. And that's it. That's it for this problem. So really the key here is knowing the formula for the parabola, using the directrix and using the focus. And I'll leave it to the teacher to explain to you exactly what these things mean. There's a geometric thing going on here, and you can ask your teacher about it or read about it somewhere else. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope that helps, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.